The aftershock.
Hello, mob family. I think it is the aftershock. Good morning. Hello. All right, all right, all right. Let's get this show started. Welcome to Mob Kaffeeklatsch episode 116, 116. Hello, everyone. Let me say hello to all the people who are here already. We already have 14 people here. Good morning, Enid. Good morning, Chris Mendoza. Morning, Richard. Morning, Connie. Let's see who else is here. I see Heather. Good morning, Heather. Linda is here. Good morning, Linda. Let's see. Jasmine's here. Good morning, Jasmine. And please say good morning to Stacy. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys can hear me. Dan. Good morning, Mr. Awesome. You got your tropical fruit bubblicious. All right. Get the Skittles. Are those Skittles on the desk, Dan? Good morning, Paige. Hello. All right. We had an earthquake, which is a big deal. And I mean, it was a 4.7. It's not like it was. I was gonna say it's not like it was earth shaking, but it was earth shaking. So I'm gonna tell you what our reaction was. I was telling Dolly if we had a real earthquake, we'd be in trouble because we both. All right. So my first reaction was I'm sitting at the desk and I'm feeling everything shake, like really shake. And I'm thinking Dolly's playing a prank on me and kind of shaking my chair, but I'm like, no, because everything is shaking and she can't shake the entire room. And then she's looking at me like, is that an earthquake? And I'm like, so if this were a real like major like what Taiwan had, a 7.5 or something like that, we'd be done because we don't know how to react to earthquakes. So what's the accepted wisdom? Go into a door frame.
Oh.
I think the accepted wisdom is to go under a door frame, and I'm like, I'm getting out of the building. Forget door frames. I'm out. So yeah, so that was our morning, our earthquake morning. This is Mob Kaffeeklatsch episode 116, the earthquake episode. 4.7 is considerable though because I really felt so. It put a lot of things in perspective. Now we're going to go on the philosophical side. No matter how much man builds and these buildings and these monuments that we create, the earthquake makes you feel really tiny because if it were a little stronger, like say 6, 7, 8, the earth is just shaking everything. So anything that you put on the earth, it's done. And so it doesn't matter what you create, it's done. Also, it made me understand what it feels like to live in a city with Monty and Simon because, everything is just shaking. So, yeah. Yes, Audrey, we're all okay. We basically just had an episode of, are you doing that? No, are you doing that? Oh, look, everything is shaking. Wow. And we just we were like, what is that? What is
These are the neighbors upstairs.
the people upstairs? What's going on? Is there something in the basement? What's happening? I wonder what that could be. Yeah, like I said, had it been a real earthquake, we'd be in trouble. I mean, had it been a strong earthquake, because it was a real earthquake. Someone said pictures when XXL was running around. Yeah, it could be that page. That's very possible. So yes, Audrey, we are okay after the earthquake. Yes, Enid, it is Monty's fault. Let's see, Facebook user high. It's very humbling, Chris. It made me understand that hey, in the larger scheme of things, I think there's a gap in our screen. There you go.
No.
In the largest scheme of things, we don't have that much power when it comes to that. Earthquakes explain why the pyramids. Yeah, I mean, if you build in a pyramid shape with an earthquake, you don't have anything to worry about because even though it might shake, it's gonna be okay. So I'm on Randall's Island now. So I think it was. Whoop! Somebody spent their first earthquake in the elevator. Sorry. All right, if you haven't gone here, please go ahead and let StreamYard see your names. Give them permission. I have both Facebook and so StreamYard connects to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So I have Enid who's on YouTube. Richard is on YouTube. Let's see. Yeah, there's a few people on YouTube. Connie's on YouTube. Connie Cleary's on YouTube. If I'm not mistaken, right? Connie? Yes, Connie Clear is on YouTube. So I have a few people on YouTube, so we can see both. Is that Rico who asked about YouTube and Facebook? And thank you for the message, Rico. I'll get back to you as soon as I get a little bit away from the writing because I'm in the middle of a whole bunch of writing. But thank you for the message. It's awesome. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll answer you in like today, this afternoon. So currently, let's see. So how many people we have? Oh, we got 11 people here. Okay. Hi, it's Carrie. Are you showing? I'm showing up as me. I don't know. Are you, Carrie? No, Carrie. It's just showing up as Facebook user. Okay. So let's do the shout outs. Shout outs to everyone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube world. So everybody on YouTube, thank you for following us. You're gonna hear my usual spiel, which is like, subscribe, and follow. Share with other people. So we're on YouTube at Bitten Peaches Publishing and Storyteller. So we want to get to those 1,000. So please share the word. Let people know that we have an amazing show on YouTube and that we're here every other week. I'm going to try and get my other, I think with the other show, when I do the 5 minutes, the Writer Wisdom 5, we'll get more people on YouTube because people show up for the little snippets, you know? Oh, Rico is Richard. Awesome. Fantastic. So you're just being like, you have two identities. Should we be worrying about you, Richard? So on YouTube, we have, I don't know, I think we're up to like 360, 370, something like that. So we want to get to 1,000. Help us get to 1,000. Subscribe, like, and share the channel, please. I'd really, really appreciate it. Yes, Carrie, now it's you. Fantastic. We're on Instagram. I haven't posted anything on Instagram because I've been writing, and writing is like the priority right now. But I will start posting on Instagram when I take these momentary little breaks. I'm going to start taking breaks around noon when I eat and have lunch. I can take that moment. I already have the list. I can just take that moment to put up a quick excerpt on Instagram. So we're on Instagram at Bitten Peaches. Go follow us there, and let's increase that number as well because that would be awesome. Jim Hickey cheers. Okay. That seemed kind of random there, Carrie.
She's replying to Jim.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Oh, I see. It's like Jim Hickey cheers. Like hello. Got it. On Zazzle. What do we have on Zazzle that's later? Endgame stuff? The most recent stuff?
Endgame, but not many.
Okay, so we have some Endgame swag on Zazzle, our store as M&S, EMANDES. And so this is Zazzle swag. This is not Zazzle swag. This is my Japanese imprint swag. So this is an Enzo circle. So I got Enzo circle with the red sun and a bonsai tree. But that's not on Zazzle. So, but it's very cool shirt. Okay. So we're on M&S at Zazzle, so go there and get your swag. Okay. We do have some Patreon patrons. So a huge shout out to Enid who raised her tier. So thank you, Enid. That's very appreciated. You guys are amazing. And Rick Clapp, thank you so much for joining and being part of Patreon. So let me put the Zazzle store here. Boom. There it goes. That was so quick, man. And yeah, so to my patrons, because you guys are just all amazing. I mean, everyone in the mob is amazing. That goes without saying. You patrons just go out and go above and beyond and say, listen, I'm going to help you a little, even more than I do by getting the books and, you know, being there and reading everything and supporting you. I'm going to go the extra mile and support you even more. So we really appreciate all our patrons. And that's why we make a point to put them in the back of the book. And can I tell them about what's happening on Patreon now? Mm-hmm. All right. So one of the updates that we have, we're going to promote the new authors real quick because I want to do that. But before that, the first chapter of Immortal was posted on Patreon today. So if you want to get, like, I guess the sneak peek advanced read of the new book, that's what you have to do. You have to join Patreon, and then you get to see. So the snippet that I put on the mob, how long ago was that? Like last week? I think it was about a week ago. Less than a week, a few days ago? Yeah, okay. So the first chapter I put on the mob of Immortal is completely different now. So that's what happens with the books. Like they're works in progress. So I put up something on the mob it's there in the chapter, but it's been completely revamped. So if you want to get the latest new version, you have to join Patreon. That's it. So if not, just wait until the book comes out. But we'd like it if you join Patreon. You know, it'd be awesome. All right, Stacy Stein got some of the Kaffeeklatsch and Destruction Mayhem. Oh, that's awesome. Fantastic. Tell Stacy I said thank you. All right, here's our, what is this? This is, oh, we're on Patreon. So yes, so I'm saying all this about Patreon. I don't have the link up. This is the link. Go to that link and click on that link. Put it in your browser. Go there and then find the Magic Squad, because that's what we are on Patreon. So we're the MoB and the Magic Squad. And the Patreon group, the patrons of the Magic Squad that have just gone above and beyond the usual and have joined. So we have several tiers, and pick a tier that's comfortable for you and join us, because that's what we do. And then you'll get a whole bunch of advanced stuff, exclusive stuff, and there's a new story coming out soon. So yes. At what level did they become a patron saint? Do we have a saint level?
No.
I think saint is a patron saint. It's actually a good title, the patron saint. I like that one. We should create a tier that's like saint, and then you can be a patron saint. That would be awesome. That's a great idea, Chris. And we can say these people are our patron saints. That's awesome. I think you really should, but you got to make it like the highest tier. Yeah, so that way if they really become a saint, they can become a real patron saint, like above Oracle. You call us saints. I think that's good because they ascended to sainthood, so they're no longer among us on the planet. You know, that's the insane tier. Exactly, Chris. If you become a saint, a patron saint, wow. You've really gone beyond. You're out of this world. How's that? Yeah, that's it. Become out of this world. Become a patron saint. Okay. So let's see. So the first chapter of Immortal is on Patreon right now. So if you want to read it, you got to join Patreon. Currently it's in the works. So I'm about a good third of the way in, which is fantastic because it's going really quickly. And there's a whole bunch of stuff happening. I had this great 1-star review. If you check, what is it? Was it Endgame Tango? Mm-hmm. If you check Endgame Tango, there's a 1-star review that's awesome. But it highlighted some things. So I'm shaking a few things up. I want to see what this person says on Immortal. That should be fun. So this person has basically given me a 1-star. Is it all the books have a 1-star?
Oh, no.
He hasn't read all of them.
He just started.
So basically
it's a new hobby.
Oh, I see. So basically every book this person has read has given me a 1-star. And I'm thinking to myself, if you like them that much that you only want to give them 1 star, why do you keep reading? So, but you know, it is what it is, and it's awesome. But he said some things in his review. I don't usually read 1-stars because you know everyone's review is personal and it's their opinion, right? And everyone has an opinion, and we all know what opinions are like. So you guys can finish the rest of that, right? So, but I read it and I said, you know what? Let's I'm gonna shake things up a little bit in Immortal, and let's see what happens. But also, I wanted to shake things up because this book is a little bit of a deviation from the usual, but it's been a lot of fun. So far, Simon is more the focus of this book, as you can see from the little snippet that I posted. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, and I think Callie already made an appearance, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You have a phone call from the other world? Oh, Saint level. Yes. If you become a saint, you get a personal phone call from Dolly. I think that's great, man. You should do that from another world. What's this? Oh, we're still having an earthquake? Allow me. So this is the emergency alert system. This is Dolly's phone. And it's saying, there's an earthquake in New York City. Aftershocks may be felt. New Yorkers can continue usual activities. See? Who says New York isn't on the ball? We're on the ball. We give you notices. How long ago was it? Half an hour? An hour? An hour ago? We give you notices. You know, we're just busy doing other things. Oh, yeah. Listen, Paige, okay. This is something that I've internalized, but I've also shared with other authors, like authors, not aspiring authors, but authors who are beginning in their career as writers, right? So reviews, don't take reviews personally. This is what, if you were, let's say you were an author and you asked me, what do I do about reviews? Like, especially if I got a 1-star review. First of all, 1-star reviews could be great in terms of like, because you need something that creates a balance. Because if you're all 5 and 4 stars, a lot of people are going to say, oh, these are just people who he got to, give them reviews. These are just fans or whatever. So it's okay to have the 1 star. It's not yours in terms of it reflects on you personally. Reviews are for other readers. The thing you want to do as an author is, if you're starting out, don't read any reviews that are lower than 3 or 4 stars. Only because it could be demoralizing when you're starting out, right? So don't read any reviews lower than that until you're established and you're confident in your writing. Because I've heard of authors who've been derailed because they read their reviews. They had a lot of reviews that were 1 star, but it wasn't really because the writing was bad. It was that the person who left the review didn't like the author for some reason. These things happen. Review bombs happen. That is a real thing. Stay off Goodreads for now when you're beginning, because again, these things could happen, right? But once you feel a little bit more established, once you feel a little more confident, still don't read your reviews below 3 and 4 stars unless you're getting a lot of the same reviews pointing to the same problem, and people are saying the same thing over and over. You may want to look at that just to see if it's something that's an issue with the book. But other than that, just you want to kind of leave the reviews alone. Don't ever, as an author, answer reviews. Don't, because it's not your place to answer the reviews as the author. I've seen those too. I've seen the flame wars where authors get into it with readers and reviewers, and that can only go one way, which is bad for the author. Don't get into it. Just don't. It's not worth it. It's not. You should be busy doing other things like writing the next book, because you're constantly improving your craft. So if you see that your book has a few reviews that are subpar, or what saying the writing is, just work on it, get better, study the craft, keep polishing, get better. Don't give up, but just keep writing and keep getting better. And don't waste your energy or invest energy in fighting with a reviewer or contradicting reviewer or trying to point out the things that the reviewer is missing. Like, but you don't understand in the backstory. That's just a waste of time. Don't go there as an author, right? So, I love the reviews that tell me Monty wouldn't say that or Simon would never say that. Those are the best, because I'm like, really? Do tell, share some more exactly what Monty and Simon would say or Peaches would do. I'm like, really? So, and all you can really do as an author is laugh, and if you really want to think about it, right? Here's a really good way to look at reviews like that get kind of bent over the things that the characters are doing. Take it as a vote of confidence and that your skill is improving. I've said this story, like when I would threaten to kill Peaches, I had hate mail come my way. And, and I'm thinking to myself, you do realize that it's a hellhound. It's not a real animal. It's not a real dog. I made him up. But when you start getting emails like that or comments like that, that's actually a good thing, because it means that people are immersed in your world. They've loved your character so much. They've gravitated to your character so much that for them, and for you as an author, but for them, they're real people and they have real reactions to your characters, and there are real feelings involved, which is why as an author you have to be sensitive. It's like Dolly was telling me, in Blur, there's a high body count. And Blur's 10 years ago, right before I really knew what was going on as a writer. But there's and so as I retweak it, because I'm retweaking it for re-release, I'm reading and I'm going, yeah, there a lot of people die in this book, like just all over the place. you know, there's a random that gets stabbed here. There's another one that gets something chopped off there. It's like there's a bunch of death in that book. It's a little dark. And as I progressed as a writer, I realized you don't need that much death. You know, kill the main bad guy or the main bad person, but you don't need to start killing so many of the incidental characters. That you don't need to insert so many red shirts into a story. And those are things that you learn. Also because people get upset. They get attached to a character, and you pull a George R.R. Martin on them and kill everybody. You lose readers. People get really upset, you know? Okay, let's see. Let me go back. Geez, I missed a few comments. Give me a moment to catch up with that, right? Okay, let's see. Chris gets a list for tornadoes. Oh, Paige says, given the typos in that review, I wouldn't even give it a thought as a perspective. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I read it and I was like, you know, it is what it is. I don't, you know, my whole attitude towards reviews is everyone has them. I appreciate all of them. The 1 stars, the 3 stars, the 5 stars, I appreciate them all. It's good. A personal phone call from Orlando once a month for up to 15 minutes. That's not bad. If you're a patron saint, I'm willing to make that deal. We don't have the tier yet, so understand that it's gonna be scary, that tier. So if you could be a saint, I'll make the 15-minute call for sure. Let's see. I mean, as a reader, I would discount that kind of review since the person can't even bother to fix that. Same thing. Yes, Paige. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. Chris, yes, Jim, same with me. I love the reviews saying this isn't realistic. Those are the best ones. Jasmine, this magic isn't realistic. Really? You know? It says something as a writer to the reader, like when the suspension of disbelief is so profound that people think this wouldn't really happen. That's a good thing. Again, you got to be able to see the positive in these things, especially as an author. Remember, writing is initially a solitary thing. Even though you write alone, you have a team of people around you, right, to make sure that the book gets done. The writing is solitary. The rest of it is not. So you just have to do what you got to do. Your part is to write the story. Then everyone else comes and helps, right? You have an editor, you've got your cover designer, you've got the people who market. All that stuff is a group of people. But the initial work is you and a blank notebook or a blank screen, and you got to get that done, right? So you got to be okay with doing that by yourself. It's all made up. It's like, oh yeah, the author doesn't explain enough about the magic. It's like he made it all up. Like, yeah, it's urban fantasy. It's right there in the genre. So people, I've seen that review a lot. Which just says, when people say things that Peaches wouldn't do that or so and so would not, as an author, you know that your readers are definitely you want people to act that way. Simon would never say that, or Monty. I get the one that's really fun is I just wanted to smack Simon upside the head. That's perfect. You want that reaction because, like Richard said, is that people are getting so invested in your characters that they're people to them. They're real people. I mean, I've gotten messages like, when is the next book coming out? Right after a book came out. Like, I would publish, let's say Corpse Rope got published today. I would get messages the day after, sometimes the same day, which is really scary because you need to go outside and do something. The day after or a few days after, and like, okay, when is the next book coming out? I'm like, we just released Corpse Rope. What are you talking about? These things don't just pop out like, you know, like toast. But it's also because people are invested. And so I really feel happy for the person who discovers Tomb Yard. And what was it, that French person? They bought every single book. So we had a French reader who found Tomb Yards and Butterflies and proceeded to buy all 22.
Well, they came at it through Wander.
Oh, so they found Wander first. Mm-hmm. So they found Wander, and then they ended up in Monty and Strong, and then they bought all of Monty and Strong, which I've been guilty of doing things like that too. Like if I find a series that I really enjoy, I'll get the entire series for sure. So that's what happens. Some people, and so people get invested. And Gray, I can see Gray doing that. So Jasmine says she still has feelings about bangers and mash. What are the feelings, Jasmine? You care to share? Yeah, it was tricky before we started using StreamYard. StreamYard has streamlined everything for us. Oh, StreamYard streamlined that. If you could turn out a new Mountain Dew Strong book every week, that would be great. Yeah, sure. No sleep. Let's see what else. See, my books average around 50K. So if I write 10K every day for about a week, boom, you have a book done. It's still rough, so it's gonna take another week to a week and a half of editing. So for a good 2 to 3 weeks, that'd be okay, Jennifer. We could do that. I won't sleep.
You're not gonna have a wife either.
And I won't have a wife. So they're gonna be very sad stories. It's gonna be Monty and Strong, the divorced edition. So yeah, we're gonna pass, Jennifer, on that one. So yeah, I don't think that's such a good idea. Plus, if you've ever had to focus on anything, for me to write 10K in a day, the most I wrote was 15K I think it was a Sunday not too long ago. It melts your brain a bit as an author. You don't want to do that too often because it's not healthy. It's how do I explain it? It's this real hyper alertness or hyper focus. You get into what they call the flow state. If you've ever done anything that requires that kind of state, you can't stay there too long. And when you do go in, when you come out, you need to what do they call? They call it like refill the well or replenish the creative aspect of your brain. Really do have to do that. You got to step away and kind of do something else. Watch some show. I play Destiny too. You need to do something that doesn't utilize that part of the creative part of your brain, because I'll tell you, 15K one day is it's doable. It's amazing to do it, but it's taxing. Your brain does get tired. It really does. Yeah. So but welcome, Jennifer. Yeah, Monty Strong's coming out next week. Sure, the next one. I don't think so. This Facebook user saying, "Well, I have edited a number of UF books and had to say this isn't realistic because the base world is ours. So something have to be real." Yes. It's fantasy. It's just an excuse cop up for sloppy writers who's well. Yeah, if you have to adhere to the rules of the world you present. That's important. Yes. So if the author's breaking that, yes, then it's fair to say this wouldn't happen in this world because the author hasn't established that it would happen in this world, even if it's just fantasy. Fantasy worlds have rules, right? So you wouldn't see a motorcycle in Lord of the Rings because that would be a complete break of the world of Tolkien. So it's things like that. You have to have a certain, I guess, continuity, or you have to adhere to the rules. You can't break the rules that of the world that you created, even if it's the modern world. Like my books are all set in New York City, present day, basically, but there are facets of that world that obviously don't exist in our world, or at least that we're not aware of. Excuse me, that when presented have to be explained and then have to be adhered to. Like I can't have Ezra's Deli phase out of, no, it's no longer Ezra's Deli, it's just Katz's Deli because all of a sudden, whatever, something happened and it's fantasy, so this could happen. No, this doesn't work like that. You got to explain it, and then you have to adhere to it. Jennifer says more Iker and Gray. Iker is on hiatus for a little while. Gray is not. So there's another Gray book coming this year, right? Divine Hell's coming this year. So definitely yes, more Gray. I like Gray, but if you've ever seen me discuss the Night Wardens, because I've said this so many times, so I'm good, but I'll say it again because you're new, Jennifer. Writing Gray, if it's not a cameo, actually writing Gray's story is hard for me in the sense that it takes it out of me, because Gray is for me, it's really interesting because Gray wasn't the first character I wrote, but Gray is the character that's closest to me. And so writing Gray is work. It's not like I don't enjoy it. I love writing Night Warden, but it's also hard. Like if you read Endgame Tango, I had so much fun writing Gray in Endgame Tango because It was cameo gray. Cameo gray is different from novel gray, when it's its own book. Novel gray is darker, a little more cynical. It deals with a lot more weightier issues because the focus of the book is on Gray and Coda and Cole and Frank and whatever they're dealing with. Cameo Gray is basically a chance for Gray to hang out and just be irascible and cranky, but not really go so much into his own personal things. He can focus on someone else. That's why it's easier. So yeah, but there's a Divine Hell is coming out this year. I think that's a great title, Divine Hell. I really like Gray's titles also are really awesome. So there's Divine Hell and there's Bright Shadows. There's some really good contradictory, because Gray is all contradiction. So the titles kind of reflect what Gray is, you know? Dan says, we are so spoiled since you write and publish. Yeah, I do write a lot. I don't know if I wrote it. There are people who write faster than I do and publish a lot more than I do. But yes, I try to spoil them out. That's why there's always a Monty and Strong book in production, in addition to the other stuff that's being sprinkled in. But you'll notice that M&S is always on a kind of like set schedule. Like every 2 or 3 months? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like every 2 or 3 months. Yeah. Tammy says, what is sleep? Yeah, I say the same thing. Recently, I've been getting up crazy early to train, and wasn't today, yesterday, I got up and my body was like, we're on strike today. We're not doing this. I'm like, no, we're doing this. We're going out. We're going to go get our training in. And then of all the days, the day that I felt the most, like I had just gone 15 rounds with Tyson and he just pounded me. I go outside. I'm ready to go out. It's raining and I got to do my walk and it's raining the whole walk there, the whole walk back. And it's like a good 2.5 miles I got to do before I do the kettlebells, right? So I was like, yeah, that's what I get for like being exhausted. So, yep, that's the way it is. What is sleep? I've heard of it, but I haven't really experienced too much of it. Dan says the worst review is meh, felt nothing, did nothing, a reaction either way. Yeah, if you want something that's polarizing, whether it's good or bad, you know, it created something within the person. But if the person says, I didn't really feel anything, that's kind of like, what? Did you even read the book? That kind of thing. Audrey wants to know, Audrey, this is like an extra question. What's going on here? Do you ever have trouble balancing work in real life? No, I have Dolly who helps me balance that. And so I don't get too caught up in any one area, you know? Like this break that I took recently was Dolly's idea. Because if you left to my own devices, I would never leave the house. So I would have the food brought in. I think I'm a perfect candidate for hermit, really. Or what's the other one? Shut in? I'm a perfect candidate for shut in, like a Howard Hughes type of thing. We know he lives in the neighborhood, but we've never seen him outside. That kind of thing. And I love going out, but I'm going out and road trips. That's not me. But that's definitely Dolly. She loves that stuff. And she's like, we got to go. I said, but I don't want to go. We got to go. I don't want to. And then she pulled a great Uno reverso on me. It's like, well, I don't want you to come if you're not going to be happy. And I was like, oh, okay, I have to go now. Now I have to go because I'm not going to, not go because everyone's going. Then I'm going to be here by myself, which that's not a bad thing for me. Understand? Me being here by myself, not a problem. But I'm also missing out on family time, and that's important to me. So it's like, okay, I'm going. Let's go. Let's do this. And I had a great time. And the weather was crappy for 2 days out of the 4?
Just the last day, really.
No, the last 2 days. It was rainy and cloudy.
Yeah, but that's not.
Yeah, but the last day really was rainy. Yeah, but the last day we were in the best place. It was just perfect. Oh yeah, we had an excuse because the last place we stayed in, we did Airbnb. The last Airbnb, I have a picture somewhere. I'll put it up on the mob so you can see how cozy it felt. So everybody stayed in, and we're like, yeah, let's stay in. All the other days we went to like Trumbull, the Fort Trumbull. We walked around. We went to the Coast Guard Museum. We went to the Elizabeth Stewart Gardner Museum, which is awesome, and just reminded me of the cloisters. But the last day we just stayed by the place that we stayed by had a river by it, which is awesome. So and it was a flowing river, so it was a really strong river. So you had this constant sound of water, and I like to sleep with the sound of rain or oceans. Poor Dolly, who has to sleep with the sound of rain and oceans too. But this time we got to have this river flowing by the place we were staying, and it was such a nice space. They had really done great work. It was like a loft space, and they had converted it into like 3 bedrooms. It was fantastic. So yeah, that was good. Okay, let's see. Yeah, too much writing like that is like anyone else working a 48 to 72 hours. Yeah, it really does have it wreaks havoc with your circadian rhythm, and it wreaks havoc with your brain. Yeah. Oh, Richard just watched the extended edition of Lord of the Rings on Max. I love that movie. I know a lot of people pan it, but I love that movie. I mean, it's the closest. It's the closest, and trust me, I grew up with the other movies, the ones that were made like when I was a kid. That movie by Jackson is the closest that any filmmaker has gotten to the books. Jennifer Jones says, as a martial artist myself, I really appreciate your accuracy when it comes. Yes, it's very important for me to get the fight scenes and the techniques being used and everything that's in there accurate. And sometimes Dolly will see me doing things and like moving, and she's like, "What do you? It's just fight scenes. I'm just doing a fight scene." So she knows not to ignore me when I'm doing strange motions, you know. But yeah, I do the fight scenes. Or sometimes I'll enact them because I've sparred and I've fought, and so I'll do the scene in my head. And there have been a lot of authors who contacted me for that reason, because fight scenes are not easy to write. They're easy to draw and to film, but they're not easy to write. So I've had a few authors work out fight scenes with me, because you have to know the spatial aspect of a fight scene, and if there's weapons involved, and what's the dominant hand, and what's happening in the scene is important. So you have to be able to write that. It's important. Speaking of gray, Dan says, and Jennifer, what do you practice? Speaking of gray, you might have told me, but I don't remember. So my brain, you know, what can I tell you? There's only so much limited memory space in my brain. Dan says, speaking of gray, Frank's review was the bomb. Yes, Chef's Kiss. Awesome. A lot of people had asked, are you going to show us more about Frank? Like, you keep kind of alluding to how powerful he is. I think I did a fairly okay job at Endgame, right? Frank came across as like badass in Endgame. So I thought that was pretty fun. Someone said hello. Who said hello? At 12:02. Not too long ago. Elizabeth, welcome. Oh, remove the banner. I removed it. Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Welcome. I removed the banner, Chris. Thanks. Let's see. You got to do it for the little people too, though. I don't know what that means. Do what for the little people? Oh, yes. That's really important, because I tried to prank the Valkyries by saying, I'm not going. You guys go, and I'll be going. And their faces like dropped. And I was like, maybe I'm pushing. Maybe I'm taking that a little far, because I did push it a little, right? Yeah. I'm not going. I pushed it a little far, and it's like, are you serious? You're not coming? How can you not come? What are you doing? Oh, we're not. You can't. You're coming, right? You're just playing, right? So I said, okay, I'm playing. I'm going. You know, because I think they overheard us talking about the driving setup. It's like, you drive this much, I'll drive this much, and yeah, yeah. So don't play with the kids that way. I don't call my mini monsters. I just call them the tribe, or the Valkyries and the warrior. I don't like, that's a personal thing. I don't like calling my kids monsters, because they're not. And I like calling them Valkyries, because it should make them feel like, whoa, my dad called me a Valkyrie, and my son, I call him a warrior. So I want them to internalize those things, because it changes how they view themselves. So if I say, you two are like Valkyries, they may not know what a Valkyrie is, but when they find out what a Valkyrie is, it's gonna be like, whoa, that's how dad sees me, as a Valkyrie. And my son, I call him the warrior. It's like, yeah, he's a warrior. So it's like that. The conversation about how far Frank could take the demonstration was a good indicator. I believe so. I like the fact, I don't think I'm spoiling anything with this, the way Cinder acknowledged Frank. I think that was a huge indicator to, like, the respect she showed him, that was a huge indicator to the power that he possessed. The fact that she was like, don't kill him. And I don't want to say more because it sounds like I'm spoiling it, right? I don't want to say too much in case anyone no one hasn't, because Endgame Tango, I know Endgame Tango is not like M&S, so not everyone reads it. Hello, Sarah. Quick hello. Thank you for coming, Sarah, popping in, saying hello, and have a good move. Don't hurt your back or anything, okay? Yeah, calling them the little hobbits is nice. I like, little hobbits is fun, and if it makes them curious as to what hobbits are and they jump into Lord of the Rings, that's like a plus, right? So to wrap it up, I had a great time when I went away. I got away from the writing because I didn't do any writing when we went to Connecticut and Massachusetts and Boston, which is in Massachusetts, but I did no writing, and it was good. It's a nice little break. It did a bunch of driving, but that was fun. Who's the Facebook user that loved the Frank scene? That's the last person. Oh, hi, Michelle. Oh, hi again, Michelle. Love the Frank scene. I suspected he was much more powerful than we knew. True. I don't call them monsters when they're around. I don't want to make them feel lesser. Yeah, just to my sisters when they aren't acting appropriately or respectfully to us. That I can understand. But I try to always stay away from that because that could even slip out when they're around, when you get used to saying something so often, right? Okay. Chris, we have promos. Let's go. Who we promoting? And just as a blanket statement, we support our indie authors, right? Awesome. And the fact that there's a full secret sector, yes, that's really important. And that's gonna get revealed much later on. It goes to show, I mean, there's a lot of books in the M&S world. So, just in the main, what I call it, the main trunk of M&S, there's a lot of books in that world that have a lot of branches going out in different directions. All right, Chris, hit us with it. Let's go. Yes, indie authors totally rock. All right, Rachel Carr is our first indie author, in addition to all the other indie authors that we support, right? We support our indie authors. Rachel Carr, The Guy in Real Life, the GIRL Saga, is a lit RPG omnibus. So go there. I don't think that's definitely not a Reader Links link. That's probably her own link, but it's an Amazon link, right? All right, so go there. It's on Amazon. Go get it and support Rachel Carr. She's a great author. Oh, let's see. And then we have, this is like a duo thing, it looks like. Yes, it is. Nicole Grotepas and Ben Zackheim. So we have, these are MoB authors because they're in the MoB. Lead and Light, Duo World free audiobook. That is awesome. So it's on, you can watch it on YouTube. It's a free audiobook, so you don't lose anything by, going and check it out. Go check it out. Give them a watch and go. It's an audio short story. So please go to those two. Can we have those links put up in the MoB after the show? Chris, I totally appreciate it. Let's give them some support, and we support our indie authors. Crumbs, we're fed crumbs. That's not true, Dad. Not fed crumbs. You're fed huge gourmet meals. Huh? Croutons, not crumbs, croutons. Thank you, Chris. Totally appreciate it. And a huge shout out to Chris and his technomancy. He's our resident technomancer. For those of you that are new, like Jennifer, that Chris works his technomancy, and he's the one that kind of makes this all happen seamlessly. So totally appreciate you, Chris. And he's also one of our MoB authors. We have so many of them. Jeez. I remember we only had 56 people in the MoB. And now we have like 1,500 or something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. I didn't get to everything on the list. Wow. Okay, hold on. Before we get to the questions, which are pretty awesome, let me finish the list of the updates. So next week, we have Lost, which is the Patreon story. I always have to say this, and this is not to kind of rub it in your face or anything, but just because I have to make it clear. The Patreon stories are exclusive stories just for our Patreon members, for our patrons. So you got to make that saint here. Because I just want to be able to say this person is our patron saint. I just want to be able to say that sentence. So Patreon members get exclusive stories just for them. How many stories do we have in Patreon right now? 10?
13.
Huh? 13. Are you writing these stories too?
No,
Okay, so we have a bunch of stories, like 14 stories just exclusive to Patreon. So if you want to read them, you got to join Patreon. John Corwin has a new one. Do we have a link? Who's that? Who said?
That's Mary Beth.
Mary Beth, do you have a link? I like to put up the link so that people can go and follow and just go there. Take care, Richard. Rock on. Okay, it's great. Thank you for the post for the note, and I'll make sure to answer you today. Definitely, I'll keep writing. If you guys keep reading, I will definitely keep writing. So John Corwin has a new one called Dead by the Dozen. So if you don't know who John Corwin is, he's the one who writes with Cthulhu type monsters and story. He's very cool. He's showcased M&S in one of his ads. It's pretty fun. So if Mary Beth, if you can get us a link, I totally appreciate it, and then we can just kind of put it here, and we can also put it in the mob later on. We do have a lot of indie authors, so a lot of indie authors that we know and a lot of indie authors that we support, and we try to get to all of them and support all of them. Interesting, because a lot of authors are usually on this. It's weird, like they're kind of on the same schedule, so they all kind of release books at the same time. But we try to support them all as much as possible. Okay, we'll find. Is that Mary Beth again at the bottom? Sorry, no.
Yes.
Your tech challenge. It's okay. We will find. Can Chris or Dolly? Can you find John Corwin's Dead by the Dozen?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put the link up here. Dan is saying if you like lit RPG, then for the L3, please add Cosimo Yaps. The game is it the game or Gam 3? Earth's Gambit and Sacrificial. Links, Dan. You give us some awesome links. Yes, Tammy, I totally. This is mine. I've acquired live caffeine. It prevents so many felonies. Yes, I totally agree. This is why this is called the Kaffeeklatsch, just for that reason. Your name showed up, babe.
At least half an hour.
When did that happen?
It happened.
All right, so Dolly put the link up for John Corwin. Thank you, Mary Beth, for shouting him out. Here's the link. Go to Amazon, grab his latest book. It's a Dead by the Dozen mystery action thriller ebook. So go grab that and show John Corwin some support, please. It'd be awesome. What time is it? We got to get to the questions. So let's get to the questions. We're here. If you have any other author like Dan, Mr. Cosimo Yaps, give us the link, please. We'll put it up. But I'm gonna go to the questions now, and I cannot see the feed. Dolly can see the feed, but I cannot. Right? So you can put your questions. I'll get to it after we do the questions. You can add questions now if a question has come to you, or comments or things you want to put. Just put them there, and you can discuss them among yourselves too. All right. First question, and thank you for all these questions. You guys are awesome. I totally appreciate the questions you guys drop because they add a different dimension to the show, and we're interacting even more. Okay, so if you have a question for another Kaffeeklatsch, you can. I always leave a post with an image. You can put all the, and I say please leave your questions here, and you can leave your questions there, and I'll read them and I answer them. So here are Audrey's questions. Audrey is the reigning champion of questions in the Kaffeeklatsch. I think she has an unbroken streak since she started. So it's amazing. And she doesn't only ask one question, she asks 3 questions. Okay. First question from Audrey. Orlando, what was your hardest scene to write? In Archmage, when I had to, anytime I have to kill Peaches, it's always the hardest scene to write. But Archmage was harder because it was shortly after we lost Winter, our own dog. And so that just kind of brought all kind of emotions back. So that was really hard to write. And I knew I had to include it. Prior to her leaving us, I already knew that was going to be part of the book, the story. And then after it happened, I was able to channel the grief of that, the pain of that, into the story. But it was still a really hard scene to write. And so if you ever read Archmage and that scene speaks to you, as the police probably come get me. If you ever read Archmage and that scene hits you or resonates with you, understand that it was because we had lost our own family dog in August, and that book came out shortly after that. I think I put it in the dedication too. All right, Dolly, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What is one opportunity you once had? Thank you for the question, Audrey. One opportunity that you once had that you are now glad you passed on. And let me take this banner off while we're doing that.
Okay. well, I had a job offer, and it wasn't. I already knew I wasn't going to take it because it just was not. It did not give me what I needed in a job. So there were no regrets there, but I'm glad I passed it on.
Awesome. I'm glad you passed on it too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you think of any questions you want to ask me, you most certainly are welcome to ask. All right. Next question from Audrey. Name one thing your parents said to you as a child that you thought was nonsense at the time, but now you totally agree with. The bulk of what my mom used to say to me as a child, I kind of dismissed because I knew everything when I was a child. And then once I had my own kids, I realized that she was really, really wise. So it's a lot. It's not any one thing. It's just kind of a way of living. And so, but when I was young and it was, let's say early teens, mid-teens, I knew everything. I completely I understood the universe as it existed, and I knew I had the answer to everything. There was nothing my mom could tell me that I was like, "Are you kidding? You don't." I know more than anyone. So yeah, and I deal with that with my own little geniuses that know everything. So yes, that was basically it. So it wasn't one thing; it was a lot of things, but I learned. And then now, like most children, as you grow older and you deal with older parents, I had the opportunity to tell my mom before she passed, "You were right," and she didn't rub it in my face, but I think every parent has a moment where they go, "Mm-hmm, I know I was." So, but I was able to acknowledge that she was very wise and had the experience of years and was wise enough to tell me what she told me without really trying to beat me over the head with it, but just kind of like, "You're gonna have to do this, or you should really do this, or I suggest you do this, and when you have your kids you may want to do this." So she was always kind of just advising. Most of the time I didn't take the advice, but later on I realized all that advice was excellent advice. It was priceless. And now I wish she was here more. I mean, I enjoyed my mom when she was here, but I think we could always, as kids, we always want more of them, which is why I tell my kids to enjoy me while I'm here, because I'm not going to be here forever, right? Okay, let's not get morbid. Susie says, did I miss something? Looks like I did. 1, that's the first one. And 2, when can I read it? Awesome cover art. Oh, this is... Okay, so she's looking at the post for the MoB Kaffeeklatsch. I put 2 different covers. One cover is for the Blackjacks. So that's Jacques and Frost on the cover. And she's holding 2 guns like this, right? And Jack is like that. And then the other cover is Nina from the Designers. And neither of these stories, well, Blackjacks have 1 story out, but the Designers has no stories out. But the covers are so great that I wanted to use them. So you can't read them yet, Susie, but they'll be out soon at some point. All right, so I hope that you didn't miss anything and you can't read it yet. So I hope that answers your questions. Rebecca asks, okay, I know that we haven't met all of the following groups: the 10, stray dogs, the word weavers. So the questions are, when are we going to meet them? Not for a while, because they're such big groups, and right now they're not center stage, but you will meet most of them over time. And how's Nana? Nana's doing really well. She's going to be paying Dex a visit at the school, and that's a story, but I can't tell you anything about that story because it's involved, and it gets into one of the M&S stories later on. So I can't tell you more, but she's doing great. And also, it's not in the general list, but Nana and Dex have a short story coming up. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And then, more info on Frank. Oh, his last appearance left some of us reeling. Yeah, that was the whole point. I can't give you too much more info about Frank because a lot of it is going to have to happen in the Night Warden series. It's just that there were so many questions about Frank, about his power level, and is he really strong? And so I wanted to kind of introduce new readers, people who might not have read Frank in Endgame Tango. These people, you know, these readers may not have read Wander or The Night Warden. So, and I also wanted to give Frank a little bit of the floor in Endgame Tango, and it was the perfect place to put that in there. So it worked. So more info on Frank won't come until, I want to say, maybe Divine Hell, which is the next Night Warden book, because Frank is really a central part of that story, of that book, of that series. All right. Great questions, Rebecca. Thank you. Chris Christmas asks, do you think true evil is born or is it created by life events? For example, Hitler or serial killers? I think it's a mix of both, but I think a lot of it has a lot of influence of life events, environment. I don't think, I mean, unless true evil is born in the stories that we write, I think, for sure. But in real life, I think life events have a huge part to play in how a person develops. So if you have a child who's raised in a nurturing home and is given enough love and support and is built up instead of torn down, I think that person will have the tendency to be good, kind, supportive, will tap into their creativity and share it with the world. If a child is brought up in a home where they're always torn down, spoken negatively to, mistreated, there's a tendency, that doesn't mean that they become evil, but there's a tendency for them to isolate themselves from the world and not share whatever greatness they may have, whatever light they may have. Sometimes it's very hard for those people to share that with the world because it's been stamped out early on as children. That's why children are so fragile, because you have to treat them right. And they become adults, you know, in the next generation. But if you don't treat them right, maybe they're not the best adults. There's historical stuff on Hitler that he was an artist, and when he was younger, and that he had like teachers who denigrated the creativity, and that influenced his going in that path. But I'm sure there's a lot of environmental issues too there. So for me, it's more of an environmental thing than it's just born. I don't think people are born evil. I think a lot of it is environment, for sure. But again, that's my opinion. I'm not a psychoanalyst, so I can't tell you. Let's see. Okay, I'm back on the feed. I hope that answered all the questions. You guys are amazing with your questions. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Now let me see what I got. John Corwin. All right, hold on. I'm going back. All right, here we go. If today is day 9, consider I worked 7 out of the last 8. Wow, that's a lot of days. You must be tired. Thank you for being here today. And say hello to Larry, please. You need to get some rest and more caffeine to keep the world safe. Carrie's asking for a vote on her cover competition. So I used to join All Authors cover competition long ago, like very early in the Monty and Strong. So I remember All Author. So guys, if you haven't voted on Carrie's book, please go to the link. Here's the link. And drop a vote on her book. I think you could do that through Facebook. You don't have to join All Author. We can just go there and she can win cover of the month. Jim Hickey. Oh, so we just want to bring up John Corwin. Yes, it's important. All right. And Biz, I'm just reading Archmage. Did I kill Peaches? I'm gonna tell you that. How would I tell you that? And do you really think I would be here having a show if I killed Peaches? Oh, you weren't here for the blood is thicker threats. No one's commenting on that. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Flashbacks like that are brutal. Doing hospice. Oh, that's rough work. I hope you have a few days off. Oh yeah, they heard you really well with the new mic. That's awesome. I don't know, what's this link, Dan? Is that a link for John Corwin's book? This is a link for the book that he. All right, this is the link for the lit RPG that Dan mentioned earlier. Here's the link. Please go there. Put the title next time, Dan, so we know it doesn't look like just some random link out of nowhere. I know it's awesome because it's you, but yeah. Okay, so here we go. I could hear them arguing again. Oh boy. Yeah, that's hard. That's tough. That is tough. Someone said bye. Who's bye? Who left? Izzy the Warrior Princess has daddy daughter dancing. Nice.
Michelle.
Who?
Michelle.
Oh, bye, Michelle. You see this later if it's recorded. You see the end. Yeah. I hope she has a great daddy daughter dance today. That's awesome. All right, let's see. Yeah, thanks for being here with us. Anne says she would love an Anna story. Yeah, I'm gonna write an Anna story. It's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be two old mages, two cranky old mages. It's gonna be a senior citizen mage story. Tammy says, be aware that Orlando knows if any harm really comes to Peaches, the mob may form an actual mob. Yeah, and they'll potentially be free for implements handed out. Pitchforks and torches are on sale that day, from what I understand. No, there will be no real harm coming to Peaches. So rest assured, even though it looks like it, it kind of takes the fun out of the story because everybody knows, like, I'm not really going to hurt Peaches. What if I wanna? I know better. Trust me, I know.
Well, that's what you do. You lull them into complacency.
And then Peaches dies. Yes. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Because shortly after Peaches dies, we have to pack boxes. We have to pack boxes because they'll be coming for us. No. Maybe a short story with the Morrigan and Dex waiting for results of her pregnancy. That's not happening, Anthony. No, that's a good idea, but no. I'm just on to Hell Hath No Fury. So a lot of these insights are what, Nana? Oh yeah, good. That's only book 9, I think. Hell Hath No Fury, right? 8? That's not even on the list. Jeez. Yeah. So you have so many books to go, Elizabeth. Enjoy. That's a fun ride. Tanner says definitely both. Some souls are just made wrong. Yeah. It's possible some people are just born twisted, because that has happened. And some, even from like these little kids who torture animals, and that's not taught in many cases. There's just something inside of them that is, calling out for help, but it's tortured. And yeah, it's a combination. All right, just catching up. Hello, Connie. Oh, that's good, Jennifer. Say hello to everybody. Sure, it's awesome. That's what we're here for. Let's see. I'm gonna hide this comment from Dan. Okay, guys. All right. Please keep writing. Who's telling me to please keep writing? My books.
Michael P.
Michael P. Hello, Michael. I think this is his first show. Is this his first show? Hi, Michael. Welcome to the Kaffeeklatsch. Hope you have coffee or tea or juice or milk. Yeah, right. The ghost of Peaches. I need to get another dog. See, my first instinct was to get another dog right away, but then I discussed it with Dolly and we said, no, let's wait. So we're not going to get another dog. And then if I'm going to get another dog, and this is a big if, I'm getting a Staffy, right? Staffordshire pit bull. These are pitties that have these enormous heads. And then Dolly was like, you don't need to get a Staffy. I have your head. I can just hug your head. And it's just about the same size as my sister has. Well, she had 4 pit bulls, and 1 passed away, and 2 passed away, and she still has, and 1 went to it with another owner. She only has 1 left of the 4. His name is Cody, and he's the youngest. He's only 2. I think he's 3 now or 4. But he has this ginormous head, and he drops it on your lap, and it's like a bowling ball, right? So my wife so graciously tells me that we don't need to get a Staffy because I have a big head, and she could just hug my head. And I'm like, oh, really? That's nice. Yes, getting a dog, I would make it. What happens is getting a dog it takes a lot to be a dog owner. It really does. And right now we're not ready for that again. So, but I love Staffies. If I'm gonna get a Staffy, I'm getting the smaller Staffies. I think they call them miniature Staffies. So because Winter was too big, she was a boxer and she was big. Boxers are pretty big. The Staffies are small and like compact. They look like they go to the gym. So, but remember, you got to walk them in the morning, walk them in the afternoon, walk them in the evening, maybe some extra walks in there, right? So that's rain or shine, because the same way you go to the bathroom every day, they got to go to the bathroom every day, and they got to go to the bathroom several times a day. So there were days, New York, where it's 3 degrees, and I'm like, who's gonna walk the dog today? Crickets. All I would hear is crickets. So I would have to get the jacket on, go out, bundle up, and go walk the dog and make sure that they didn't freeze and we didn't stay out to the. So it's like Chris has said, it's a huge commitment. And then there's the vet stuff and making sure they eat right and making sure they have enough the right food, and it's a lot of stuff. So you have to be prepared for that commitment. That's all. I mean, what you get back in return is always worth a billion times more. You get a lot of unconditional love. They come in, they want to spend time with you, they want to cuddle with you, you get to scratch them, they get to be part of your family. It's good. But I'm not gonna get another dog right now. For me, it's the inevitable departure that prevents me from doing that again. So maybe later on. Yeah, maybe later on. But yeah, the kids, the Valkyries and the Warrior, grew up with Winter. So she got to be 12. So they were there for she was there for most of their life. So that's good. Because it's a good experience to have a dog. I think it's a good experience to have a dog. So yeah. But I don't like going. I've been through it because I had dogs all my life, ever since I was really young, and I know what it's like when you lose your. So I had a dog named Surprise because it was a stray that we found on the street, and we brought her in, and we called her Surprise because that's what we did to our mom. We surprised her. So he called her Surprise, and my mom was like, "The surprise is not staying long," and she didn't. She got Surprise a real owner. So, and then I had Juno, which is a terrier mix, and he was basically a Tasmanian terrier, Tasmanian devil terrier. He never became tame. Every time we left the house, he was trying to eat everyone. It was insane. I had him from 8 weeks till 16 years, and he died in my arms. And so after that, I said, I'm never having a dog again. Then I had Raven, which was a dog. I had her for a while, but then she had to go to a farm, so that was good. She got a nice retirement. And then after her, Winter, and this is after me saying I'm never having a dog again. But after Winter, I'm like, pause. We're not having any animals right now for a while. No more pets for a while. So we'll wait. We'll see. It's tough. It's wonderful to have them in the house, especially when they're puppies and they're so cute. And you're taking a billion pictures. I was always taking pictures of her, and Dolly took a bunch of pictures of her. We had these great pictures of Winter when she was like this big, and her collar was like this. It was like this big, so tiny, and yeah. So, but they get older, and as they get older, you start to see them decline, and that's the hard part, So yeah, and it's tough, but I strongly support being a pet owner, having dogs in the house. I'm not that big of a cat person. If you love cats, that's awesome, but I don't really get along with cats. I don't know what it is. It's weird, but yeah, I don't get along with felines. It's interesting. Time. Oh my God, it's time. It goes by so fast. Okay, does anyone have any questions, comments, statements that they want to say before we go? Our next Mob TV is the 19th of April. It says allergic to humans. Yeah, there are days when I don't have enough coffee that I'm allergic to humans. Usually around 3 in the morning when I do my walk, I'm allergic to humans. When I walk at 3 in the morning and I'm outside, there are no humans outside. It's just me doing my walk all alone for 2.5 miles. It's awesome. It is awesome. It's one of the few times where this city feels like it's sleeping. It's amazing. Maybe adopt a relative like a deadbeat uncle or cousin hiding from. No, thanks. No, no thanks, Anthony. But if I find one, I'll send them your way. How's that? Chris says we had a Brittany that followed my kids all over growing up. Yeah, I mean they become part of your family, so it's like it's hard to get over when they pass. It's tough. And says I have a Norwegian forest cat too. He said, "Wow, 17 pounds. That's not a cat." So it's a baby. That's a cub. That's a lion. Jeez, more like a dog than a cat. Yeah, plays fetch, loves water. That's more. That's just like a feline dog. That sounds like one of those Maine Coon things that are like enormous. I think it's a coon. It's a Maine Coon. Those cats are just gigantic. Yeah. No, if we get a dog, it'll be a Staffy, a baby Staffy. It'll be the miniature Staffy, so Dolly could be the one that walks it all the time. Because Winter, sometimes we give her a hard time because she was almost 70 pounds.
I'm not walking her.
You're walking her.
I'm just playing with the dog and
Yeah.
giving it treats and cuddles.
You know, when we first got Winter, Winter belonged to everyone. Winter was everyone's dog, except when it came to walking her. Then she was my dog. All right, guys, we're going to close because it is time. Staffy's are beautiful dogs, so beautiful. I mean, I'm partial to all dogs, and Cane Corsos, of course, but we can't have a Cane Corso here. We don't have the space, even though we have space. We don't have that much space for a Cane Corso because they're enormous. And that would, if we ever got the space to have a Cane Corso, you know that would be Peaches. We'd name it Peaches. All right. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being here. And you know, we made it through our earthquake episode, which was awesome. We should have shaken the camera a little bit. Huh? Oh, okay. 1 through 7. Pick a number so we can close out with the music. So pick a number. First 7 people. 7 people? Or is it 10? I forget. The first, let's make it the first 10 people. 10. First 10 people. Pick a number 1 through 7, and then we'll close out with the closing theme. So pick a number. See you on the 19th, Jennifer. All right, let's see. Count. Going to train a Roomba named Robbie. There you go, Robbie the Roomba. Nice. Always an awesome hang, Dan. Always. 3.14. Oh, nice. Sure. Pi. Why don't you pick Pi for sure? 7. So what's the number? What? 5. Okay. We go with 5. I'm going to go from a different direction. All right. So you're not going to see me anymore. You can put Peaches here. All right. So wait, let me close out. I want you guys to be kind, be unstoppable, and be uncommon. Okay. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to close out with the music. So let me put Peaches.